The Education Channel presents District Digest, an inside look at the Collier County Public School District. First, the latest news.
Thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening.
The start of the 2014-2015 school year is just around the corner.
Monday, August 18th is the first day of school for our district's 45,000 students. They'll be welcomed to 50 schools by 3,200 teachers who will be ready to help the students begin the new year.
Lely High School ended the 2013-2014 school year celebrating the creative work of students who took part in a special project.
It's a phenomenal project resulting from a rather unique partnership involving the school, Discovery Education, and Rookery Bay.
Just before the end of the school year, student teams from Lely High School showcased their short films to a crowd of nearly 100 guests at the second annual Marine Science film premiere held at Rookery Bay Reserve. With a scenic view as the backdrop, expert mentoring from the pros, and quite a bit of creativity, students produced documentary films on environmental topics unique to our area. It was true collaboration with students from marine science, video production, and multimedia design classes teaming up to work on this project.
It's a inquiry-based learning, and it gets kids really excited about learning new things. It incorporates all disciplines: writing, reading, technology, science, and they get to see how everything applies to real life.
Throughout the filming process, in addition to the partnership with Rookery Bay, another district partner, Discovery Education, offered the production guidance of a Discovery Channel associate producer. At the premiere, the top 5 videos were featured, but one called Marco Island Dredge and Fill, produced by the team Top of the Food Chain, placed first overall and received the Batfish Award.
I honestly couldn't believe that my film won because we went through so many trials and tribulations putting it together and everything, and I'm just very happy and very blessed to have won.
But it was about so much more than winning.
I think it was really cool because it wasn't just fish anymore in marine science. It was you actually learn something about where we live. Most of us on the team actually live on Marco Island or have lived on Marco Island, so it gives us kind of a history and where it all came from and how it got there. So it definitely went beyond what we expected in the class.
For the Education Channel with videographer David Deline, I'm Maribel De Armas.
Now coming up on this special back-to-school edition of District Digest, a segment for parents about getting your children ready to go back to school.
Then you'll learn how to enroll and register your child for school.
The wheels on the bus will go round and round. Again, beginning on the 18th, we'll share a school transportation update.
Finally, the Collier County Sheriff's Office will offer some important back-to-school safety tips.
That's all straight ahead on this special edition of District Digest.
Please stay with us here on the Education Channel, your window to education.
On the air on Comcast Cable 99 and online at collierschools.com.
I'll be right back with Jennifer Kincaid, the district's Executive Director of Elementary Programs.
The Education Channel, always giving you a close-up look at our students. The Education Channel is your window to education.
It's story time. When you hear these words, it's time to have a favorite story read to you right here on TV. Storytime is a daily read-aloud show for pre-kindergarten through 5th grade students. The most important 20 minutes of the day is the time parents spend reading to their children. When you can't read, Storytime will, for you. Boys and girls, mom and dad too, join us for Storytime, the read-aloud show found only on the Education Channel, Cable 99.
District Digest continues with a special feature. Here's Maribel De Armas.
Welcome to our back-to-school edition of District Digest. Our first guest on today's show is Jennifer Kincaid, our Executive Director of Elementary Programs for Collier County Public Schools. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So I can't believe the summer is practically over. School starts Monday, August 18th. Should parents start getting their kids ready to kind of get back into that school mode?
I think we have all seen in Target and Walmart and Publix, the school supplies are rolling out. The school advertisements for supplies are coming out on Sundays, and I think that sense of excitement about the beginning of something new is definitely in the air. We have tax-free weekends coming up and lots of things to help parents get ready for school. But there's more than supplies and clothes that are required, and getting your kids back in the schedule of waking up early and getting to bed on time, eating their dinner at a little maybe earlier hour. All those things are part of preparing for school. But probably the most important thing as a parent is to look forward with excitement with your student.
Sure.
Because it is an exciting time.
Absolutely. Well, and a lot of the kids got a little bit of freedom over the summer, got to stay up late, maybe eat a little bit of whatever they wanted. It's really important to get them back into that routine.
Right, and there's a lot of ways to do that. I've read articles about easing bedtime up 5 minutes a night to try to get them back on a normal schedule, and that works for some families, and for others really just taking that approach of we're going to enjoy every minute of summer until it's time to go back to school will work just as well.
Sure.
One of the main things our teachers are looking forward to is seeing our students come to school just excited about another year of learning. So that one of the best things you can do as a parent is just talk with your students about the exciting time ahead, the chance for a fresh start, the chance to see their friends again, to meet a teacher who's excited to meet them, and to have a wonderful year at school.
Sure, absolutely. So how about for our first-time students, our incoming kindergarten class? Maybe they stayed home with a parent or a caregiver. Maybe they did go to pre-kindergarten, but kind of first time in a big setting.
Right.
What's some advice for those parents and for those kids too?
I think for little ones, it really helps as parents if we can help them understand what to expect at school and to understand that the teacher will be there to look out for them. The teacher is like their parent at school, and the teacher is going to care very much about them. They'll have lots of people in their classroom who will be their friends. There's going to be a great lunch, there'll be a great breakfast, and we're going to make sure they get safely home again at the end of the day. So parents who communicate with the school and let us know what their transportation arrangements are, who make sure their students know their first and last name, know their parents' name, and know how they're coming to school and getting back home again.
Sure.
Those are things that really help kids feel confident about how the first day will work. Going to your Meet the Teacher night during the preschool week, the week right before school starts, can also help students have a picture in their mind of where they might sit in the classroom.
Sort of a trial run.
Some ideas about walking in with that new backpack, where will they put it, how will they open their lunch. One thing for little ones that I found to be very helpful in my elementary work has been to allow them to have a packed lunch at home a few times, pack a lunch for them and let them sit at the dinner table and open that lunch and show them how to open all the packages, make sure that they can open what you pack for them, and to try to help them eat in kind of a shorter period of time, because all summer kids kind of dawdle, they might watch TV, they might read a book, and they take a little longer to eat than they will have during a school lunchtime.
Got a set amount of time and gotta eat your whole sandwich at that time.
I know that we do, but schools are pretty flexible with the little ones to try to give them the time to get the nutrition that they need during that time, and we can always be flexible with start and end times for lunches, but it does help the students to feel confident that they can open their Go-Gurt, they can open the pudding and the things that they're so excited to have, and that if you'd like them to start with the sandwich instead of the dessert, you maybe talk about that.
Exactly.
Because their tendency is to eat the sweet stuff first.
Eat the sweet stuff first,
for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. So not only for kindergarten, but really for all of them, what can parents expect that first day? It's kind of not necessarily chaotic, but it's a little bit, it's everybody's getting back into the routine. What should parents and kids expect?
The end of that first day, when your child comes back, just take a few minutes to sit down with them and go through their backpack, look at all those papers they bring home the first day of school, and ask them what they think about their new classroom. Be encouraging, because children left a teacher that they cared very much for at the end of a school year, and they're being introduced really to someone who's likely a stranger to them. So they may think, I really liked my teacher last year, and I'm not sure about this new situation, and just reassure them that they're going to have a great year, that their teacher cares about their learning, is going to make sure that they have a great year, and see what friends they might know in their classroom or from the neighborhood that they might have seen at school, and just be positive and encouraging that it's going to be a great year for your student.
Absolutely. And we've been talking about keeping learning alive all summer. Here to wrap up our time here today. Is there still time to do that? Should we still have parents bringing that academic element back to their kids as well?
Our school supply lists are posted on our district website, and if you're going to go out to Target and do some shopping, that might be a great opportunity to take that list and have your student do some price comparison with you and help you select some of the things that they will have to go back to school. Maybe on the Sunday ads, just pull those out and look at the price at Office Max versus Target versus Walmart versus any other store you may choose. Just take a look at that, because that has a real application, and they care about their supplies. They know what they want, and they could be very involved in that. But it's never too late for parents to be our partners in making sure this is a great year for students, whether it's summertime, back to school time, or any time. We're here to partner with parents to make sure kids have a great year.
Well, we're excited about the new school year. I know our teachers are excited, and I'm sure our kids are excited, and hopefully they'll walk through the classrooms with big smiles on their face.
Exactly.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
District Digest presents a District Office Update with Leanne Zinzer.
Well, our next guest on District Digest is Dr. Rachel Dawes, the Director of Student Relations here in the district. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So it's that time again. We're gearing up for the next school year, and we always need to talk about student enrollment because, as you know, we have new kids moving into the area all the time. So what do parents need to know in order to enroll their child?
Parents should definitely go to our district website at collierschools.com and click on the parent link and go to enrollment. And from there they can gather all kinds of information. But what I'd like to share is the first thing is to find out which school they are zoned for, which goes by your address. So they can click on the link, they can type in their address, select elementary, middle school, or high, and it will tell them which school they're zoned for. And from there they will need to gather the required documents needed for registration. Students have to have the birth certificate, they have to have their immunization records, their physical. If they're a high school student, they need to have transcripts. They also need to bring in their proof of address. And if they're in grades 1 through 12, they go to their zone school to enroll into the school. If they're at kindergarten, we're having our first year of kindergarten online centralized registration. And so they would then complete the application online. If they don't have a computer at home, they're welcome to come to our site at the district office here at the Dr. Martin Luther King Center, and they can fill out the application online. And then they would come and finish the registration with us here at the Dr. Martin Luther King Center.
And again, that is only for new kindergartners or siblings of new kindergartners.
Correct. So grades 1 through 12, they go to the school that they're zoned for to register. But yes, for kindergarten, they would come here. But to reiterate, if they have siblings with a kindergartner, then we will enroll the entire family in a one-stop shop.
And let's just kind of focus on that for a second. Why did we decide to go that route for the kindergartners?
Well, we're starting with kindergarten this year only to see how well it's going, and so far we've already enrolled over 1,000 kindergartners. But to come, the big mentality was to have a one-stop shop for our parents. As you know, we have many families move to Collier County, and to take time off work to go to enroll at, say, 3 different schools, it's a lot of time and a lot of hassle on the parents. So we want that one-stop shop mentality. We have staff that are specialized. That's all they deal with is registering students. So they can specialize in it so that we can make sure that everything is a very smooth process. And so far we've had a lot of success from it.
And the thing is, it's beneficial for any child to enroll prior to that first day of school so that they can hit the ground running and they don't lose any time.
Absolutely, yeah. Throughout all summer we've been encouraging parents, come early so that they can have it done well before school begins. So if anybody hasn't registered their child, now is definitely the time to do it so that they're not waiting until that last week of school.
And for those grades 1 through 12, they can go to the school anytime that the school is open. It's not just like in the morning or in the afternoon. It's anytime the school is open.
Certainly always suggested to call the school, see if they do take appointments. Some schools definitely do. They might find out which times are better, depending on the school. Some might have more time in the morning, that type of thing.
Anything else that parents need to know as far as enrolling their child or registering? I mean, what some of those important tips?
The biggest question we get is how old for my child. Florida law, they have to be 5 on or before September 1. So anybody with a birthday of September 2 or later, those kindergartners will be enrolling next school year. And And the biggest thing is just making sure you have all your documents ahead of time. Better to call if you have questions. Do I have all the required documents? Nothing we hate more than to see a parent have to make multiple trips. So again, if they go on the district website under student enrollment, then they can make sure they have all the documents they need so they can get it all done at one time. But then to investigate about the school, go on the school's webpage. Do they have a dress code uniform? What are the school's start and end times? Those types of things.
And school supplies.
And
things
school
that you might
supplies,
need.
absolutely, very important.
Right. And you've got, again, the website is a wealth of information as far as if you have meet the teacher, if there's any type of open houses, that kind of thing.
Perfect, absolutely. And call. Anytime they have questions, they can certainly feel free to call.
It's an exciting time. There's a lot to do to get prepared, but it really is an exciting time. I can't believe we're already talking about the start of another school year.
I know.
But Rachel, thanks so much for being with us.
Anytime. Thank you.
You are watching District Digest on the Education Channel. Once again, here's Maribel De Armas.
Our next guest today is David Ogilvie, and he's the Director of Transportation for the school district. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
So back to school time. Our big yellow buses are about to hit the streets again, transporting kids to and from school. Are you all ready for the first day?
We are just about ready. We still have about 2 weeks to go, and we'll be putting those buses out with the drivers, practicing their routes in about a week and a half. We'll also be doing our training with our drivers and attendants and looking towards our startup date.
Great. So to put things in perspective, the busing logistics is quite a big operation. Can you put a little bit of scope on that, share some statistics? How many buses you have, transportation of students, how many students you transport, just so that we can kind of get a better picture of what you deal with on a daily basis.
Certainly. Well, we have over 300 buses in our fleet. We have 251 routes to start with this year that will probably grow. Sure. We have over 300 drivers, over 100 bus attendants, and we transport daily slightly more than 21,000 students to school and back home again in the afternoon.
That's a whole lot of students and a lot of movement every day.
Yes, it is.
So you mentioned bus routes. Parents are likely wanting to know what their student's bus route might be or what their student bus stop might be. Where can they go to get that information? Is that information ready? If so, will it be published anywhere? Are there any rules that they need to follow?
Certainly. Parents will be able to access their bus stops for regular education. Special needs, parents will need to contact their schools to get their bus stop information. Everybody else can go online to the website for the school district, and they can click on the connection there and put in their information, and they'll get their students' bus stop information. We also will be publishing that information in 2 different publications. On August 7th in the Immokalee Bulletin, and then on the 9th in the Collier Citizen. In Immokalee, they will only publish Immokalee bus stops.
Sure, that makes sense.
So everybody else will need to look for it on the 9th in the Collier Citizen.
Now, how about rules? Should there be rules? Should parents be sharing certain rules, that bus etiquette, of bus behavior with their students?
Certainly. It always helps, no matter what the age group is of your student. Go online. You can click on the Department of Transportation, and you will find a number of publications there. It's a good thing to just review some of the rules and regulations with regard to riding a bus. But not only riding a bus, but information for parents, especially for the younger children, about bus stops, what they should teach their children to look for. Just go over those things with them so that they're prepared once they get into that routine.
Sure, absolutely. Now, I hear that there's some new things going on this year, whether it be with our kindergarten students or late bus notices. Parents sometimes don't see the bus coming and they might get a little worried, but you've got some things in place for those.
We do. You can, if your bus is late, and we usually only put this in if a bus is over 15 minutes late, but you can go onto the district website. If there's a late bus, there'll be a bright yellow bus up at the corner, and you can click on it. It'll give you information with regards to time. Sure. You can also call us, any of our transportation locations, and you can find those numbers again on the website, and ask, and we'll be glad to tell you what's going on.
Sure.
A new thing this year that we have is we use Student Messenger, which is in extreme cases where there may be a large traffic accident, something that is really keeping that bus from getting home. We use that system, which many folks are used to because the schools call home. And this will actually put out a phone call to all the registered students on that bus.
Wonderful.
And let them know that there's a late bus.
Sure.
And they can again call us for further information.
Sure. Now, how about for our youngest crew, our kindergartners that might be getting on a bus for a first time? You also have a way of identifying them so the bus drivers know who's on their bus.
Yeah, once again, that's new this year. We're trying out something new to help bring our bus drivers and our little young ones, the kindergartners, especially the first-time riders, together at the very beginning of school. And we'll be asking the school to put little bracelets, or I should say wristbands, on those kindergarten riders. And we ask that the parents not remove them, but if they have to, we'll put them on again. And that'll only be for about the first week of school. And it really just helps us be able to seat them up front and give them the attention that they need and make their ride be as seamless and as good as possible, a good experience for them.
Well, we appreciate all of those little things that you do to make the experience a little bit more comfortable for all of the students. So again, our parents can go onto the website, our school district website, collierschools.com, to check for bus stops, and they can also check in the publications as you mentioned.
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
District Digest presents a community update. Here's Leanne Zinzer.
Well, our final guest on District Digest is Sergeant Thad Rose from the Collier County Sheriff's Office. Thad, good to have you on the program again.
You. Nice to see you again.
It seems like just yesterday we were just talking. We had you on the program talking about safety for summer.
Right.
And here we are leading right up to the start of the school year again. Doesn't seem possible. But I know that there's kind of a shift, and we also want to talk about safety as the school year starts.
Yes, I know it is funny. Like we were talking earlier, it just seems like each summer kind of goes by faster and faster. And you and I were just sitting here. It seems like yesterday talking about preparing for summer and safety, and now here we are ready to go back to school. The first couple weeks of school are always very busy, and it's a concern for not only the sheriff's office, but also for the school board and the schools and everybody involved. You got new kids going to school in different places, so there is some safety concerns that we ask people to be aware of. We ask the community to just kind of be patient right now because school buses are out there. Our bus drivers do a great job of getting kids around and dropping them off, and they're worried making sure they get off at the right bus stop and things like that. So we just ask the community to be a little more patient the first couple weeks and have a little more understanding when it comes to maybe being delayed a little bit.
Right, because with that added traffic, you not only have the buses, but then you've got all of these parents that might be driving their kids to school. And you have high school kids that are driving to school. Maybe you have some new drivers that are driving to high school for the first time. So it's a lot more traffic congestion.
Absolutely. And, especially our elementary level, with the first week or two, we do see a lot of parents bringing their kids and picking them up, before and after school. So, which is understandable. So we're going to see a buildup at the drop-off line, which does sometimes clog or impede the flow of traffic on some of our major roadways. So we just ask people to be patient there. At the high school level, obviously, kids are excited to drive. They're high school age kids. They're excited to have their own car, their first car, and drive to school. So we just ask, again, just be patient with people out there. One thing we do try to promote is the safety at these bus stops and things like that. Our bus drivers do a great job of making sure kids get on and off at the right stop. But as a parent, if you see something that's suspicious in the area or doesn't look like it belongs, or you see a kid that's maybe lost or maybe got off at the wrong stop, we ask you to, to kind of step up there and help out as much as you can.
Well, and we've got the buses, and then we also have bike riders, and we have walkers. So that presents a whole other slew of issues with, again, being a motorist on the roads and just being mindful of what's going on around you.
And I think over the last few years, we've seen an increase in the amount of kids who walk and ride their bikes to school. So yes, that's a big concern. And some of these kids are crossing at major roadways. We do have our crossing guards that assist, at crossings. However, once they get through the crossing, then we have to depend on the public to kind of keep that eye on them. Our motorists to be aware of kids riding down the sidewalk or riding in the road or walking down the road. So that's always a concern, for us as the sheriff's office.
Well, in the sheriff's office always, we have YRB deputies at our schools. to make sure that not only the students are safe at school, but the staff and visitors, and that's something that we've enjoyed for 35, 36 years, a wonderful partnership with the Sheriff's Office, and you providing that stability and that security at the schools, and we just want to thank you about that. But it really is, it takes a village to raise all of our kids, and with the school staff and the Sheriff's Office, we really work together with that safety in mind, and that's really the end result, what we want.
And it is, and like you said, the relationship between the Sheriff's Office and the Collier County Schools is great, and that rapport gets stronger and stronger each year. And we've really built a very strong relationship with each other, and we all are working for the same goal, making sure the kids make it to school on time and get there safely and getting home safely as well. And when we have buses that are running late or kids that didn't make it home, it's not only a concern for us, but the schools, it's a big concern from them. They take great ownership, just like the Sheriff's Office does, in the safety, and it's greatly appreciated.
Well, and another thing, not only the getting to school and the getting home, but then we've got all these activities. You're going to have football season starting. You're going to have volleyball. You've got, more. So it's not even just at the beginning when school starts, and then at that dismissal time, we really are going to see an influx of traffic and everything in the evenings as well.
Sure, and it really hits you all at once, to be honest. You got the start of school, cranking back up with kids driving, especially at the high school level, they're driving to and from school. But now you have football season, volleyball season, whatever other sport that's going on at that time. And it's not just Friday night football. I mean, they're out on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever the case might be, on the weekends. So you're seeing a lot more kids driving, especially at night, because they're out with extracurricular activities. So we just ask that people be, aware of that again, too.
Communication, communication, communication.
Absolutely.
Great. Thad, thank you so much.
It's great being here. Thank you.
And we'd like to thank all of our guests on District Digest, and we'd like to thank you for watching. For Maribel DeArmas and everyone here on the Education Channel, I'm Leanne Zinzer. We'll see you next time.
Join us again for District Digest, your inside look at the Collier County Public School District. The show is produced by the District Communications and Community Engagement Department and the Education Channel, your window to education.